All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Stephen Schiffman. I'm here in beautiful Savannah, Georgia, with Grace Schiffman. We're here today joined by several members of our advisor team, such as Ernie Plaza, Angelica Plaza, and Ileana Kim. And we're here today to introduce today's special guests, Maria and Francisco Rodriguez. Maria and Francisco, how are you today?
Well,
Outstanding. We're doing outstanding.
Awesome. Apparently you have a presentation on a fix and flip. Is that correct?
Yes, we'll go ahead and
Awesome.
sure.
Glad. We're ready whenever you're ready.
Okay, Maria's gonna put it on the screen here.
so we want to tell everybody this is pretty interactive. If you guys have a question for the Rodriguezes, please stop and ask because I know that that's how we learn. We've already had kind of like a really good conversation before, so I can't wait to hear all about how they do what they do successfully because all of us can learn and grow with each other.
Yes, and we had a small get to know you session before we started, but if any of our other guests who arrived a few minutes late want to introduce themselves, please write a short description of yourself in the chat.
You guys are on mute, Freddie and Maria.
We're putting the slides up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Y
All
esto
right.
también puede ser en español también, hablando en español, para
Los
todos
dos.
aquellos que quieran
Tenemos
hablar en
los dos.
español también.
Sí, hablamos los dos igual.
Yeah.
Hablamos en español, pero podemos hablar en inglés también.
Yeah.
While they're getting ready, just let everybody introduce themselves. Pick one.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea, Ernie. If any of our guests would like to come off mute and introduce themselves, the floor is yours for the next minute.
Hi, I'm Ileana Tavares Kim. Ileana Kim just because it's way shorter. And yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas. I also serve the Twin Cities, Minnesota. A la orden, cualquier cosa. Soy dominicana. Yeah, that's it.
Oh. Thank you, Ileana. Always a pleasure to have you on with us.
So it looks like we are ready to get into the presentation.
Yes.
So today we're mainly focusing on why it makes sense to consider fix and flip as an agent, just as a source of income that can complement your commissions as an agent. And we already talked a little bit about ourselves. I also have kind of my background for share a little bit about his. I came to US when I was 12 and have been here in the Raleigh Triangle area most of my life. I used to be a Spanish teacher in high school and then decided to become an agent once my youngest was born. So I have 3 kids. And part of how we started kind of into renovating properties was once our oldest one was born, we wanted to create a legacy for our children and build like wealth, not just for us, but also for their futures. And that's when we bought our first property that we renovated ourselves, and we still have that home today.
You know, Maria, I have to tell you that as many conversations that I have with our community, most of us Latinos always have that in mind that we want to build a legacy for our kids, and it's probably because we need them to grow bigger and better than ourselves. So thank you for saying that because I think that's a common denominator.
It is, and our goals evolve. Now that they're older, they have more of that entrepreneurial spirit. So now it's like, how do we teach them to build something for themselves and continue to grow and improve and get to places we couldn't even imagine when we were their
Yeah.
ages.
Yep. And hi, everybody. My name is Francisco. My nickname is Freddie. So my friends, family, now you guys can call me Freddie. My background is I'm a mechanical engineer. So I went to school, Tennessee State, for mechanical engineering. worked in the aerospace industry for 14 years. And then after 14 years, I was like, hey, look, having a W-2 job is preventing us from going after deals that go quickly. And that's when Maria and I decided to go 100% to real estate. We're kind of going at this a little bit different than most people. We started out as investors and then went into kind of worked ourselves into being realtors. Um, right now, I do have my license, so I'm helping Maria. We're building our retail business and kind of operating it as a business, as an operations, because I did spend 14 years like continuous improvement and the last role I had was a program manager, so I had quite a few people under my direction. So just going at it with like standard work, checklist, a lot of like very process oriented business, and that's how I ran my fix and flip. That's how I run my fix and flip business as well. And yeah, we've done buy and holds primarily, and we have done fix and flip as well.
Some of the I think it's hard for us since we see these every day. Like we're seeing the market every day, we're seeing changes. We have access to all these tools, and sometimes we don't realize how valuable they are when it comes to being able to find properties, assess properties. Just having MLS access and being able to see private remarks about a home just gives you so much access that the general public wouldn't be able to see. Being able to search and make things very automated in a way that other websites wouldn't be able to do it, it really gives us a huge advantage over the general public just having that MLS access in terms of finding properties that could be potential fix and flips. We also have great connections. So think about if someone calls and they need a plumber, who you recommend? Like, do you have that list of preferred vendors, people that you know are gonna do a good job, that communicate well? You might know great general contractors. You might know someone who does a great job putting floors and that also will give you a great price. So things like that, that we already have that tool too, because a lot of people struggle with finding like great contractors and people in different trades. Having that really makes a difference as well when you're trying to build a fix and flip business. So having that, it's very beneficial. Um,
Yeah, I think the other thing, kind of the upper right-hand corner, the thing that I appreciate more now as a real estate agent is having a solid ARV and doing your solid CMA. One thing that we notice with other investors that we work with or that we know of is that sometimes they're not very strong in doing CMAs, or even if they have a real estate agent, the agent is not as strong running CMAs for them. So that's the starting point. ARVs, you're like step one. If that's off, then all your numbers are going to be way off, and then you run the risk of losing a significant amount of money if that ARV is wrong, or you're just in a very hot market, and then when you put it in the market, your market happens to go down for any reason and cool off. Then you're in a really bad position. So you need to make sure you understand the market cycles and the ARV, and that you have solid comps. The other thing that I noticed with investors is that they'll try to take shortcuts and not get a real estate agent to help them with the CMA and to get a solid ARV after repair value number for their property. They'll go to Zillow and they'll look at the neighborhood feature and they'll do lot lines and they'll just look in that vicinity like very quickly. They'll just glance at it and then come up with a number. That's not the way to do it. That's not a very solid and safe way to do a CMA. So yeah, I spend maybe like hours upon hours running CMAs for our clients and for us as investors as well. And then just knowing how to negotiate contracts. The one thing that I've noticed now that I have my real estate license, when I called a realtor to get information on a property, they were very hesitant to give me any information at all. As an investor, they have, I don't know if because of the experience that they've had with other investors where they just trying to cherry pick information, get information that they can later use to negotiate. But just coming at it, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I it hints to the other agent that you know what you're doing and that you have requirements and rules that you're going to follow during that conversation interaction. So it does make a big difference coming at it as a real estate agent. It's a lot less friction and pushback from the other agents that you get.
So you seem to have built a lot of trust with your fellow agents as opposed to calling as an investor and saying, "Hey, I want information about 123 Main Street." And you're
Hmm.
saying as a fellow real estate agent, they may give you like better quality information because you know that there is a standard that we're following and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's very, very accurate. That's true. Yep.
And beyond that, they also know that they're dealing with someone who knows how to write a contract. That's like our standard forms that they know how the process works. Like here in North Carolina, we have due diligence period, and then after that, people might go into like deciding, do I want the property or not? So people that know how deadlines work and how kind of the whole process works, right?
Got it.
Yeah. And then for us, I mean, we haven't leveraged this as much because a lot of times we just negotiate through price or concessions, but being able to leverage your commission as well. On the offer side, you can some we've known some investors slash agents that say, "Hey, I want to waive my commission. Here's my offer," and a lot of times that gives them their offer accepted. I want to say that's kind of risky because then uh, again we haven't leveraged that yet. I mean, I think if you do a good job and you uh, live your own weight. There's no reason why you should waive your commission uh, as an agent slash investor. But that's a lever you can pull as well, where you waive your commission.
So, Freddie, what I've done in the past, and tell me if you think this is a good idea, is I've used my commission for closing costs. Now, I know I can only get 2%, right, on a conventional, but I've used it for that because I don't want any money coming to me because I don't want to pay taxes. So I'd rather say, hey, instead of whatever number, is out there. We're not going to get in trouble by giving a standard,
Mhm.
buyer agency, but I'll say 2% of that needs to go to my closing costs. And that way I don't pay taxes on commission that I'm going to be buying this house. Do you do that?
We have not done that yet. We usually just again, it's not a lever that we've used the commission. We just bake it into offer. Hey, whatever percent Maria decides to get in the offer, like we'll just put it there, and then they'll come back and counter. But typically, most agents and sellers that are selling distressed homes, they don't negotiate the commission for some reason. Maybe we just got lucky that way, but it's mostly the price that they're focused on. They're like, "Hey, I'm not going to give my home away," or they'll counter with the price, not so much the commission.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for that.
Hmm. And then for the potential, what Marie and I look for flips. So there's different levels. There's like a cosmetic flip, a medium flip, and a full flip. A full is like a full gut where you're taking down drywall, you're redoing all the electrical plumbing. Um, it's basically going to be a new house, a bit outside of just the framing. It's going to be everything's going to be new. So that's a full gut rehab. For a cosmetic to medium, we're looking at 10% of ARV profit. And for medium to full, we're looking at 16%. And it varies to what you're comfortable with. We know some investors are comfortable with 10%, like across the board. It doesn't matter if it's a full gut. They'll just go with 10%. But it just depends on what you're comfortable with. And full guts are very high maintenance and they tend to take longer, like closer to 6 months to turn around. So I mean your costs just keep going up the longer you hold the property. So that's why we look for 16%, where it makes sense for us to be spending time managing the GCs versus representing a client
Mhm.
or even working our W-2 jobs. It just makes sense that 16%.
Yeah, it is going to vary to another factor that a lot of people don't consider is how much time am I going to put towards this to get that return? So are you going to do the work yourself? Are you going to hire somebody to do it? What are going to be your holding costs? So it's not just, oh, I can sell for like this ARV, this how much it will cost me to buy the property and rehab it. And then the difference is profit. There's like so many numbers that go into that, and like opportunity cost as well. Kind of what Freddie mentioned. What could I be doing during that time to generate money, right?
Can I ask you a question real quick? So, how is your initial look at a property? When you, like, I'm old, right? And so what we used to do, and it does not work in Savannah anymore. It used to work. It was the 1% rule, really simple. It does not work here anymore because our prices have gone through the roof. Do you have a standard, like a easy thumbnail that you do, or do you basically look at everything on the MLS to try to figure out whether it's worth it for you or whether it's going to be a long-term hold? How much your investors can make as a rental property? Is there like something easy like that you guys do, or is it a lot of back end work for you?
So I create an app. I use Claude to create an app where I feed it. So I have specific geographic areas that I would like to invest in. And so I was looking at it, okay, where would I want to find property? So I built this app where you feed it like however many are listed in the MLS, you feed it like 300 properties. It'll go through the private remarks and the public remarks, and it'll pick out specific words of motivation. So like investor special, seller motivated, or a fixer upper or TLC. So it'll go through a list of keywords and phrases that I fed into the app, and it'll pick out those properties that have those key phrases and words. So from the 300, I mean, it'll spit out 14 properties that have high potential. That's what we look for first. And before I would do it manually, so it would take me several hours to do. Now it takes 2 seconds to do.
Oh, that is awesome. One of these days you'll have to show me that Claude app.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and it saved us a lot of time. So now, because we know and we have a abundance mindset, what we're doing is the investors that are friends and clients, past clients, we're sending that list every Friday. Hey, these are the high potentials we're seeing in these areas. So that way, that if they want to execute on any of them, like we'll give them the the ability to do so. If nobody is interested in them, then we go and see, okay, this one is interesting, that we like this one, so we'll take a look at that. That way, like it gives you a higher opportunity of converting deals into dollar amounts, whether you execute or somebody else executes. I mean, it just converts, higher percentage converts to dollars for you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
And let me see, maybe we'll get into this, but the other thing that we do, like rule of thumbs, whenever we're running numbers, is like the napkin 70% rule, where you do like ARV times 70% minus the rehab cost. And that's like a quick analysis. Somebody is telling you, hey, I need a offer right now. Like, give me an offer. If you're put on the spot, that's a quick way to do it. For deeper analysis, maybe we'll share it, but we have a calculator that we built where we put in the numbers and it spits out an offer, maximum allowable offer.
Goodness gracious, you guys have taken this to a whole new level.
Yeah, if we have time, we'll share it with y'all.
Well, if you don't have time this session, we will certainly bring you back because this is amazing. Now, because I really believe that in this country, the only way to build wealth is through real estate, and we're in the perfect position to do it. And if we can help our Latinos in this community even buy one house and make and get that going, right? I think that that's amazing. So even if we don't finish it here, we will finish it at another time, Freddie and Maria.
Yeah.
Can we, like, side note, can we have like a mastermind around Claude and how you are creating all these awesome tools? Because, hello, that's awesome, you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd be happy to do that. Yep.
Yes, so we'll book that sometime in the fall. We'll get back to you on that.
Ileana, I was also talking to Freddie and Maria, so I hope that we bring value there too. I was talking on another mastermind, and there's a gentleman that fixes and flips houses in the Chicago area. And he's built it to where he walks through a property talking to chat, and chat spits out a good number before he even walks out the house. Isn't that amazing?
Wow. Incredible. See, I haven't
I
even super dabbled in cloud. I'm so excited.
Yes, yes, we're very excited to bring all this information. So I'm excited for Freddie and Maria to like keep teaching us, and hopefully we'll be able to teach him something when we bring the other master in because I don't know how to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, we love to share, so happy to
hmm
do it and learn as well. Mm, I think on this, the only thing I want to mention is just have that mindset of seeing everything, every property you come across as an opportunity, and just Gary Keller says it all the time, like ask the question, would I buy this property, right? Just starting to get on the habit of seeing properties as potential properties that you can add to your portfolio, um, and seeing like believing, oh, I'm an investor, like tell yourself I'm an investor and would this work for me? Would I buy this? That's an important part of kind of rather than going, oh, I'm going to see a property and see if I can get it listed, like, oh, would that work for me?
Yeah.
That's good, Maria, your mindset, right?
Yeah, even for showings, like initially, I'm like, showings are you have to drive. You don't know if they're going to put an offer. You have to go see like 10 homes before they choose one, or 20 homes or 30 homes before they choose one. For me, I changed my mindset where it's more of a exploratory um, effort where I'm trying to see where my next flip is going to be. So I'll go to a neighborhood and say like this neighborhood, I see a line of cars waiting to see the house. And then there I know, okay, this neighborhood, if there's a flip that comes, an opportunity, I want to be here because I want that line of cars for my property. So it just having that mindset shift that as an agent, I mean, you're going to see all these nice neighborhoods. Just like keep an eye out of where you would like to invest
Mhm.
as a rental or as fix and flip.
And take the next step. If you go to a neighborhood and you're like, hey, this is somewhere that obviously there's a lot of interest, a lot of people want this house. Send letters in the neighborhood. Say, hey, I'm looking to buy my next investment property. Have you considering selling, or do golden letters? Do something that kind of stack those activities that will get you that next investment opportunity.
Hi,
Steven?
real quick, one of our friends, Raquel Lavender from Atlanta, she's so excited. She's already wanting to schedule a one-on-one with you. So, well, whenever whenever one of you has a sec, please put your preferred contact info in the chat for her. Thank you.
Yeah, that will do.
And we'll also post it in when we post this on Facebook, and we'll make sure that you guys get all the credit and contact information because we want people to send you business your way also. I mean, you're taking time to do this for us, so we appreciate it.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
These are kind of like the process, but let's say you found a property, and we put some ways that we find properties. Something that works is just word of mouth. Let everyone out there who knows you know that you do fix and flips. Everyone, whenever, do you
Yeah,
want to talk about?
I'll give you guys a story of how powerful word of mouth is. So we're doing a fix and flip in a city. It's called Sanford here in North Carolina, for those familiar with this area. So we're doing fix and flip, and I hired a plumber. He's like an older gentleman, and he had lived in Sanford for like 40, 50 years. He went to do some plumbing work, and we're just chatting, just talking, and it's like I asked him, well, you must know like a lot of people here, like you probably worked in most neighborhoods here in Sanford. It's like, yeah, I saw this neighborhood being built back in the 70s. I'm like, that's amazing. So long story short, I asked him, hey, well, I buy homes. I renovate homes. I buy homes. I'm an investor. It's like, and I asked him if you know anybody that's looking to sell, let me know. At the time, I did not have my license, so I obviously wasn't promoting myself as a realtor. But I've always been an investor. Um, he said, "Well, you know, funny enough, my niece just inherited a house, and my brother, he's like 80, and he's trying to help out, cut the yard, and just keep an eye on the house, and they really want to sell it because they don't want to keep maintaining it. They've been maintaining it for 2 years. I'm like, that's great. Can you put me in contact with her?" So called her and we closed on the house. We negotiated it. We got it at phenomenal price, and as easy as that. I mean, who would have thought that the plumber would have had a lead?
Well, but that's exactly what you're teaching us, right? Everybody, you need to tell everybody because you never know where that next house is coming from. And when would you have ever seen that? It wasn't on the MLS, it wasn't on Zillow. You had to have that connection. That's amazing.
Yep. Yeah. So just talking to people, and you never know. You'll be surprised what leads come as well. Now even more like if you guys are realtors, so if it's not an investment opportunity, it could be a listing opportunity. Simple as that.
Hi, we have a quick question in the chat. Amelia Lara asks, do you buy properties all year round or try to align with a spring/summer post-repair listing timeline?
We buy anytime that a deal comes through. Right now, we've been so inundated with a lot of clients that are wanting to buy and list homes that we're kind of like 70% of our focus has been in
Representing.
representing right now. But I mean, we're still we'll buy whenever the deal comes through because I mean, life happens and you never know when somebody is motivated to sell off market. They're not interested in listing it. So that's when you offer them a solution. And then if it works for them, great. If it doesn't, then you can always represent them as an agent.
Awesome.
And just add this tip here, if you have somebody who has a house, let's say an example, somebody inherited a home and they said, I just don't have time to go clean it up. Position yourself as a person who has the solution to their problems. If they don't want to clean it up, tell them, I'll buy it as is. You don't need to come clean anything out. I'll take care of that. And and for a lot of people, just having that convenience is more important than price. And a lot of times we think, oh, all everybody who wants to sell a home, all they want to do is make the highest amount. And a lot of times that's not the case. Yeah, a lot of times they just want to not have to think about that or like have that take my space. And if you're the person who can solve that problem, it does open a lot of opportunities for you.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And the next step here is analyzing the numbers. I just having a technical background as an engineer, I do pay really close attention to the numbers, like having a solid ARV and then having a solid uh, estimate for cost of how much it's going to cost. There is AI that you can use to help you come up with quick numbers for renovations. Um, what I do typically when I'm in a pinch and I have to do quick estimates based on the level of rehab in the area. So the AI will get costs that local contractors are charging for specific things based on the level of rehab. It'll spit out based on the square footage, the location. It'll spit out a number, how much it'll cost you. I typically put 15% contingency on that. So that's the margin. That's like a buffer for you. So if you happen to get something wrong, it protects you on during the project phase. Not always though. Then not always. Before we put an offer though on paper, we walk the property 100% of the times because um, we've seen it. I think we've all seen it where you can do a lot of things with images, make it look good, but when
Yes,
you walk the property, it's a different story. And so
it
we always
is.
walk properties and s- confirm the numbers that we're getting from pictures and AI softwares. So that's how we do it. And then just again, the ARV is super important. And a lot of people that come up to us and say, "Hey, can I want to do fix and flip," and they're like, "Hey, I mean, I've seen people make a lot of money. Would you recommend it?" And it's like, yes, but you need to make sure you have an agent that can guide you through and point out any red flags. The ARV being one of them, and running solid CMAs.
And days on market, how quickly are homes? I know things change very quickly. I mean, we see here often, but is it appropriate that has high, like an area that has high demand for properties? Like how long are properties? Because that's something else you have to consider. Not just how much could you sell it for, but like once it goes on the market, how long would it take to sell? And there's a lot of factors that go through that, but that's kind of one of the things to consider as well.
That's actually a perfect segue into a new question we have in the chat. Ileana Kim asked, how do you mitigate loss if a flip doesn't sell the way you intended?
Oh, we had that example recently. We're flipping a property. Our intention was to flip it. So we came in. It was a 1,100 square foot home. It was made in the 50s. We thought, hey, it's going to be a medium rehab. The house is well kept. It was that's the inheritance we talked about with the plumber. Like it's going to be 40K to 50K rehab, easy any day. And we got into the property. We ended up spending close to $90,000 in the rehab. And that one, what we ended up doing is we ended up doing a cash out refi. So we kept it. So when we ran the CMA thinking that we're going to list it when we finished it took close to 4 months to complete. It was a full gut renovation. And when we were listing it, we were in the like in the fall market. So we took us longer. We were trying to get it out earlier in the market. It took longer because it was more work than we anticipated. We came into the like a fall winter time, and the market it just went down here. That typically goes down here in North Carolina during that time. So we're like, hey, we're gonna be making like $10,000 on this flip. 10 to 15,000. We're not okay with that. And then we saw potential. It's very close to downtown Sanford, and there's businesses around it, like HVAC businesses, insurance businesses. So Marie and I decided to keep it. And once the expansion of businesses uh, reaches that area more than it is already, we'll reevaluate whether we want to convert to commercial or sell it as is to somebody that wants to convert it to commercial. In the meantime, we're renting it, so our monthly payment is about $1,000 a month when we did a cash out refinance, and we're charging 1650 per month on it, and we
What
were
is
able
your
to pay
price
off.
point, Freddie? My gosh.
What was that?
What is your price point?
That house we bought for $70,000.
Okay, okay. That's amazing.
And then we spent a lot of money in the rehab, so we're close to how
But
much
that's
we would
that's still
sell it.
160.
Hmm. Yeah, and we typically like, and I guess we got spoiled in our previous flip that we did. We earned close to $70,000 on that one, and we were like, hey, there's isn't nowhere near that one, so we decided to keep it and cash flow for a few years until it appreciates more.
Yeah, but still, I mean, really, honestly, looking back at what I just told you, that was the golden rule a lot of years ago, right? The 1%. You've done that, and you don't, I mean, that's amazing. You paid like even with rehab, 160, you're renting it out for 1,600. You're right there, buddy. So, I mean,
Mhm.
good for you. At the one that you think that you're not making a lot of money on, I'm thinking, yes, go.
Yeah, so we're excited just having options of what you can do when things go wrong, which they more likely will. You just need to have different exit strategies, and that was one of our exit strategies. So we just executed on that because our primary one, the selling it didn't go as we thought it would. So we just went to plan B.
It is always good when you buy something as a flip, always ask yourself that question, what's another exit strategy that I can have? And we always try to have at least two. Like, let's say everything crashes and I cannot sell this property. What else could I do? And for that specifically, it was let's just keep it as a long-term rental.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for whoever asked that question because that was a good question.
And that's a good segue to three, how to get the money to do it. So there's hard money out there. It's usually very expensive to get hard money because they charge you points. They charge you a high interest rate from 13% to 20% in some cases of like annual interest charges. What we do, what Marie and I do is we've used our own cash, and lately we've used private money. So private money being you have a family member or friend that has money in the bank, they're earning 3%, 5%. You show them the numbers on a property and say, hey, lend me the money. I'll secure your investment with a deed of trust and a promissory note. That's what we use here in North Carolina um, to secure properties if there's a mortgage associated with it. And then you can be, I'll pay you 8% to 10%, depending on the project. If it's a quick turnaround, not high risk, then you obviously you would offer 8% because it's more it's less risk. The higher the risk or the money that they lend you, like the more interest you would offer them. So we usually are between 8 to 10% that we offer private money
Mhm.
investors, and it's a good feel because it's just having that abundance mindset where you should not be in the mindset that you want to keep every dollar, every cent, every nickel. It's okay when other people make money too. And it's a good feeling when you give a family member or friend a check at closing when you sold the property. You pay them back, obviously, the money, and then you give them a extra 10,000, 15,000, $20,000 check that they would not have ever seen if they had kept it in the bank. It's a really good feeling, and we enjoy uh, those just going through that process and being able to make money.
I bet you guys are the most popular people in your family.
Yeah, we have friends and family that they're like, "Hey, sign me up for the next one. I'm ready to go." So it's just a matter of finding the next deal, and we
Yeah,
just having the funds lined up already.
that's
To
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, and a lot of times, like speed with these distressed property, speed is key. Where you can say, "Hey, we always do inspections." So that's one thing. Like a lot of investors, they can do sign and scene without inspections. We always do inspections. We always ask, even if it's like 3 days due diligence to ask to do inspections. We do inspections so we know what we're getting into. And but I mean you can close in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and a lot of times that gets you the deal if you
Mhm.
can close quickly and on these properties.
And I want to add something, especially as for our culture, a lot of times, with family members, they
Mm.
are like, "Oh no, just give you the money." They they don't like, "Oh, we don't have to do all the paperwork." We do like to have like the systems in place that protect them in case you never know what could go wrong. Having what Frey mentioned, having your deed of trust, having them first position in if something goes bad, they'll be the first one that will get paid, and securing whatever they're lending you, whatever the amount is, having that in place. It's important.
That's awesome. Integrity first. I can tell that. That's amazing.
Yep. And then step number four is actually renovating the property, and that's very crucial to get references when you hire these subcontractor and GCs. Just make sure you call people that have hired them, that they've worked for. And oftentimes, like well, here we've heard cases where I'm sorry, some people will say I have a license and they do, but it happens to be expired. So you have to go in and check, make sure they have active license status, they have good references, and that you have a contract up front written with them. So that's something that we do,
The
and
scope of work.
have a solid scope of work. That way you can compare and contrast. So for us, whenever we get estimates, even for like plumbing, like little plumbing issues, all the way to full renovations, we'll get at least three quotes. but we'll send each of them, we'll send the same scope of work. That way they're quoting us the same thing, and like this person's not quoting us like marble floors, and this other person's quoting us like those stick floors that you can buy at Lowe's and just like puzzle them together. So those are the things, the scope of work, having a solid scope of work and making sure they're quoting the same thing, all of them, is super important when it comes to contractors. And just with my background, just being a program manager, I do enjoy um, guiding and leading people. So I tend to do very well when it comes to dealing with contractors and making sure we treat them the right way from a leadership standpoint. But when something goes wrong, also like um, work with them so it doesn't happen again, and they improve as well. So I do make that's why Simon Sinek is one of my best, my favorite leaders, because he's more of a servant leadership. Doesn't mean that you're the nice guy. It means that you use a different approach, more less of a dictatorship and more of a servant leadership role. But sometimes you have to have those tough conversations with people that you hire. And yeah, do you want to go through the last
Yeah,
one?
it's the best part. Once the house is ready, just put it on the market, and that's our area of expertise has agents. So just leaning on what we know, are we pricing the house correctly? The staging is so important, especially with these new renovated homes. We always stage a house that we flip. Um, we know how to do marketing, we know how to negotiate. Um, and that
Maria, do you have your own staging furniture or do you hire someone?
It depends. So there are times that we use our own, and there's times that we hire a company to do it.
Got it. Got
Yeah,
it.
for the last few flips that we've done, we'll do light staging because you don't want to. Typically, most investors, based on the people that we know and us, will allocate like $3,000 for staging alone. So we'll bake that in up front. That way, we're getting it covered from an offer standpoint. So it's covered from the beginning, from the get-go. So we always plan for staging, but then depending on the market and who you're trying to attract, you either go like heavy staging or light staging. And for me, I just like light staging because I don't want the the house to seem cluttered. So I just like just strategic light staging, like in the bathrooms, kitchen, living room, and maybe like
Master.
in the master bedroom, and that's it. Because I want the people coming in to kind of picture themselves in the house too, and not I don't like robbing them from that opportunity. And
Yeah, that sounds really special. You guys' team sounds just amazing. Stephen, we need to ask them to come back and we need to ask them to share one of their listings so I can see it because really what you've taught us, and if you guys have time, I know we only said 45 minutes and I hate to keep you guys later, but if you have 15 minutes to like answer questions or anything or
Yes.
yeah, we can, yeah, we do. We'll be more than happy to answer.
okay.
Awesome. Awesome. Would anyone like to? Amelia Lara just asked, do you have other team members, or is it just you?
As realtors, it's just us.
Mhm.
For fix and flip, we have a team. So we have the contractors that we use. We've worked with wholesalers in the past. We have other agents. So here recently, we got a referral from a colleague of ours of a photographer. So this is like the other beautiful thing about real estate. A photographer that she hired told her that he had inherited a house and it was in despair, like a really distressed home. There's a tenant in there. It's going through probate, and it's something that she doesn't deal with, and not all agents deal with distressed homes and homes with tenants. I mean, that's a challenge in itself. She connected us, and that's potentially a listing or something that the marina will buy if the numbers make sense for us and for the seller. But uh, just having your team, because you never, I mean, even other real estate agents could be part of your team where they're promoting you, saying good things about you, and then a lead comes through that doesn't fit their portfolio or their strategy, and then that could be a referral to you.
That's awesome.
And I also want to add kind of in terms of that growth mindset. We also, if somebody is an agent in our market and they bring a property to us and we flip it, we let them list it.
Oh, goodness. That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll let them flip it, and we've also told our colleagues here, hey, if you bring me a lead, you can represent me and you can get the commission on the front end, and then once we're done renovating it, you can get the commission on the back end.
That is amazing. Well, Stephen, I want to thank Angie for bringing him on to us because I think my mind is going. There's so many things because really it's my passion. This is my passion. You guys are speaking my language, and I cannot wait to learn more. And I hope you go to San Antonio because I think there's a spot for you guys in Hispanic leaders for our lunch because we're like proposing it's going to be an amazing luncheon on Monday just because this is such a relevant conversation. And like I strongly believe this is a way that our families and our generation can just be lifted up is by buying properties. And we're
Yep.
in that perfect position. What does Gary always say? You got to be your best client. So I thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you, Steven. Thank you, Angie, Raquel, Iliana, Emilia, todos que estaban aquí con nosotros. Y como estamos hablando antes que comenzamos esto, ¡Go México!
Yes, everyone, thank you for joining us. Maria and Francisco, thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate you. Thank you, Angie and Ileana, for all the work you do for us behind the scenes to help us run this network. And thank you to all our guests. We hope you all finish the week strong. And have, goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you
Guys,
again.
now.